Investigators in Thornton are confirming tonight what many had feared. 10-year-old Kaia Campbell's death was a homicide. A searcher found the child's body after many people looked for hours. Police said she'd been separated from a friend during a storm. 9 News reporter Jessica O is in the neighborhood where Kaia's body was found near 128th Avenue and Jasmine Court. Jessica, there's no one in custody at this point.
That's right, Victoria. No arrests have been made, and police say they don't have any suspects in custody at this time either. Kaia was last seen just about 2 miles away from where we are right now. Police say she was walking home with a 15-year-old friend when they got separated because of a storm, and that was the last time anybody saw Kaia until that discovery was made behind me yesterday. There are still so many questions surrounding 10-year-old Kaia Campbell's death in the neighborhood where she was found.
It doesn't happen in my backyard. And it happens.
The people who saw the girl's body want answers.
Totally surprised me. Right away I knew something wasn't up.
There's a memorial growing in front of Billy Blackmore's home. He was one of the few who saw her body in the woods behind his house.
But the body wasn't even buried or covered. It was just laying there.
Investigators aren't releasing many details. Police haven't mentioned a suspect.
And to think that someone with that type of mentality was behind my house that night that could do that to somebody. Could have done it to any of us.
You worry until they catch these people. I know everybody in the neighborhood's going to be on edge.
Especially Bruce. He regrets not doing anything after he thought he heard a scream from the woods that night.
It didn't sound like an animal. If I heard something, I could have got down there, or I could have called the police.
The people in this neighborhood may not have known Kaia or her family, but after a discovery so tragic.
It's just a terrible thing. I feel bad for the family. I mean, she's only 10 years old.
They will never be the same.
I just hope they catch this person.
Police say they are still looking into every aspect of this case, and that includes speaking to that 15-year-old that Kaia was with at the time. Again, Victoria, police say that there are no suspects at this time. They have no one in custody, nobody detained, and there are still so many unanswered questions about what exactly unfolded here.
All right, thank you for that, Jessica. Sad story we'll be following up on.
People in Longmont appear to have forgotten the Constitution exists. The Longmont Housing Authority says it was using the homes of low-income residents to train police drug dogs. No warrants, just a notice that the landlord was coming by and that a police officer and drug dog might be there too. Longmont police originally defended the practice, and then hours later today they said they would stop these warrantless searches. The letter to residents of low-income housing starts with all the standard stuff, notifying them of an inspection. That's what landlords across Colorado do. And then it mentions the police officer and the drug dog. Nowhere is it said that while you have to let the landlord in, you do not have to allow the police officer and the drug dog inside your home without a warrant. And if you do, anything they find is fair game. The chairwoman of the Housing Authority in Longmont says they have never had a resident refuse the police search. Perhaps because those residents didn't know they could refuse.
And usually it helps the residents feel real secure in that we're following up, we're holding residents accountable. It's an opportunity for the dogs to train.
You heard that correctly. The head of a public housing agency in Colorado says that they are using the homes of low-income people to train police dogs. I spoke to several housing authorities across the metro area today. All of them said they do not do this. They've never heard of anyone doing this. One housing authority official actually laughed out loud at the thought. But it's not funny, of course. Landlords can schedule inspections, carpet replacement, painting. They cannot schedule searches by police drug dogs. That's what warrants are for. The Longmont Housing Agency says renters shouldn't have a problem if they don't have something to hide.
If there is concern, it kind of sparks some curiosity for me. You know, what are they concerned about? If their only job is to ensure that there aren't drugs in the unit?
That, of course, is completely not how America works. And it is no longer how Longmont works. Longmont police originally told us they were comfortable with this arrangement, that they'd done one of these rounds of searches previously. But shortly, a little while ago, they said they're finished with this arrangement. And now they're trying to figure out who at the police department knew that this was going on. And we need to say the only reason that this went public and the only reason it stopped is because somebody at that public housing complex knew her rights and knew that she did not have to submit to a warrantless police search, no matter what the housing authority said.
This is a rights issue, not whether or not you have something to hide.
There it is, the long and the short of it. So we're trying to learn more about who at the Longmont Police Department and City Hall knew that this was going on, and we'll let you know what we find.
Her goal in life was always to make somebody smile.
And Rylie did just that every day of her 12 years of life. Today, the parents of Rylie Guentensberger talked about their daughter who passed away nearly 2 weeks ago. Rylie was critically injured in late April when a driver had a medical problem and drove through the entrance of the R&K running store in Parker. Today, her parents talked about the girl that brought so much joy to their lives and chose to make others happy every day. Here's 9 News reporter Dan Grossman.
Her spirit is still here and with us, and it will be forever.
Whether by nature or nurture,
We're kind of living moment by moment right now.
we often view life as a series of moments from which we can learn.
It's been a long month and some odd days.
An outlook few parents understand as intimately as Megan and Ziggy Guentensberger.
We have 2 choices. We can let this beat us down, or we can learn from it and grow from it, and we know that's exactly what Rylie would want from us.
12-year-old Rylie Guentensberger did not live a long life.
She was the one that always would smile at somebody or pull them along and say, have a great day.
But according to her mother, she strived to live a full one for herself and, more importantly, for others.
Honestly, that was her goal in life, was always to make somebody smile.
And I had a kid come up to me yesterday that she went to school with that hugged me and said, Mrs. G, she took time every day to say hi to me. Every single day, and I didn't realize it, and I started carrying her picture with me when she couldn't finish 7th grade with me.
Rylie's Hallmark blue running shoes were seen hanging from front doors not just here, but in London and Dubai, a show of support for a girl who supported so many others.
I think that's the most powerful message that thing we've taken away from this is the little things Rylie taught us when we didn't even know she was teaching them to us.
Leave it to a freckled 12-year-old to simultaneously teach her family how to approach life as well as death.
We're learning from our 12-year-old daughter who is like, hey, it's okay. Accidents happen. This is an opportunity to learn and grow, and we will do that, and we will love, and we will forgive, and move on.
4-year-old Frankie Delgado III passed away 6 days after his family got home from a weekend trip to a fishing area in Galveston Bay. His parents say he was briefly knocked over by a wave while playing in shallow water, but got right back up and kept playing. Days later, though, he woke up at night, vomiting and in pain. They rushed him to the hospital, but it was too late.
The night before this happened, we were supposed to throw the football with him. I was playing catch with him. He was running around. And then Saturday morning came around and
our world just turned upside down.
A Colorado father says Frankie didn't die in vain. His family being strong enough to talk about what happened, he says saved his son, 2-year-old Gio, who just 2 days ago went to the pool, swallowed some water, but then had trouble breathing and a fever. 9 News reporter Anastasia Bolton spoke with Gio's dad.
And this is where my son was at, and this is where he swallowed the water.
Gio's dad, Gio Vague, didn't think anything of it at the time, but as Wednesday went on, 2-year-old Gio was getting sicker and sicker.
The little boy would start complaining about head pains. He would say, "Mama, head hurt. Mama, head hurt."
Gio's fever wasn't going away. His mom Googled his symptoms.
Came across an article about a 4-year-old little boy who went swimming, and he passed away from something called secondary drowning.
At the ER, doctors figured out what was wrong.
And the doctor said basically it is in fact fluid in his lungs. He has a significant amount of fluid in his lungs, and it was a secondary drowning.
Just a little bit of fluid in the breathing pipe itself can set this process off.
Dry drowning in children is extremely rare, says Dr. Ivor Douglas, a chief of pulmonary sciences and clinical care medicine at Denver Health.
And this is common in the swimming pool, is kids choke or cough or splutter, is that the airway is well cleared. But if that persists to any level of breathing discomfort, that should warrant attention.
If we had waited the night, he probably would have made it.
The story of little Frankie from Texas saved Gio's life. Now his dad says he's talking about it to warn other parents.
I had no idea that you could drown without being submerged in the water. I had no idea. None of us did until now.
Anastasia Bolton, 9 News.
Dr. Douglas says fever in these situations is a less common symptom at the early stages, but look out for difficulty or noise when breathing, change of color in the lips or fingers, and a change in the child's awareness and responsiveness.
That pressure, that onslaught from the United States.
I'm super excited to be here.
If you were looking for any semblance of mild-mannered quiet, you weren't gonna find it today.
Really high vibe, really energetic. I mean, loud, exciting.
The only thing coming from the British Bulldog. No! With the collective waves of yeses, nos, and almosts.
World Cup qualifier, World Cup in itself. It's just going to be a good match. So
I mean, this guy literally didn't sit down the entire first half.
Absolutely. I mean, it's huge. You know, they need to come out, to be honest with you, they need to come out and just smash them.
Come on, Dempsey. But the only people that rivaled these guys and gals were these ones.
Oh, we're going to win like 40-0 today. It's going to be a football score.
Particularly Nicholas Colgan.
Clint Dempsey's going to leave his leg out there. He's going to score so many goals.
I mean, would you expect anything less from a man whose face is painted like this?
I'm super pumped for this game right now.
So quiet may not have been on the menu, but 3 points, a win, and a heck of a good time were.
And it's nothing better than be here for a World Cup qualifier.